Hi and welcome to Cooking from Scratch. Today we're going to be making chicken pot pie. This is a great recipe to make after you have a rotisserie chicken that you bake in the oven, or you can also do it after Thanksgiving when you cook your turkey. So to begin, we're going to make our crust. I like to start the crusts at least an hour or two before I'm going to go ahead and make the pie, just so it has a time to rest and chill out in the fridge. So to make the crust, we start with 3 cups of flour. Into that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, and then we're also going to add 3 sticks of very cold butter. I like to cut it into little cubes so it's a little easier to cut in. And just make sure it's really cold. You could even put it in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes before you are ready to cut it in. Once I've cut the butter into the flour and they look like the size of little peas, I'm going to go ahead and add about 15 tablespoons of ice water, adding just a couple tablespoons at a time. I don't want it too wet, but I'm waiting for it to come together until it feels a little sandy. And then I'm going to turn it out onto a flat surface and start pressing it together. You don't really need it, but just bring it all together and press it into 2 separate discs. Once you've done that, you want to wrap them in plastic wrap and then put them in the fridge for at least an hour, preferably 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so now we're going to start making our pie filling. To do that, we're going to take 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to put that in a pan that's been heated to medium high heat. Into that we're going to add 1 large onion that's been chopped, and then we're also going to add about 1.5 pounds of chopped carrots. And we're going to cook these vegetables until they're nice and translucent. And while the vegetables are cooking, I like to add my herbs, so I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of thyme. I like to crush it between my fingers just to get the oils starting to release a little bit. And then I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And I'm not going to add salt here because my chicken broth is homemade and I've already added enough salt to that. But if you're using like no salt or low sodium chicken broth that you get at the grocery store, you can also add a little bit of salt when you're cooking your vegetables. And once your onions are looking nice and translucent, you're going to go ahead and add about 1 cup of flour, and then you're going to cook this for about a minute, just until the flour has a chance to cook off. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 3 cups of chicken stock, and we're going to stir our broth in a little bit at a time, and then we're going to bring it to a boil and let our sauce thicken. Once our sauce has had a chance to thicken, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 bag of frozen peas, and then I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 pounds of shredded chicken, and then I'm also going to add 2 pounds of peeled, chopped, and parboiled potatoes. You can also par-cook your potatoes in the microwave if you prefer. This will help to ensure the potatoes are fully cooked while they're baking in the oven, and you're not biting into a raw potato in your pie later on. And we're going to stir everything together until it's nicely coated and mixed. Alright, so now we're ready to take our pie crusts out of the refrigerator and start rolling them out. I'm going to flour our surface a little bit, and then starting from the center of the dough and rolling out toward the edge of the dough, I'm going to try to get this into as much of a rectangular shape that will fit over a 9x13 baking dish as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but I'll try to keep all of the edges that are breaking apart together between each roll, and then I'll roll the dough up on the rolling pin, and then I'll roll it out onto the 9x13 pan that has our chicken pie mixture in it. This is a bottomless crust. If you prefer to have 2 crusts, just double the pie crust recipe and then bake your crust before you fill it with your chicken pie filling. Then I just like to crimp the edges and fold them under so it looks a little neater, and then I make 3 cuts across the top to allow steam to escape. And then I brush with a little bit of milk just to help the crust brown in the oven. And then we're going to go ahead and bake it at 400 degrees for about 40 to 50 minutes. You want to check to see how the crust looks, probably about 40 to 45 minutes. And if it's starting to turn a little golden brown, you can take it out then or leave it in for another 5 or 10 minutes. And here's the finished product, chicken pot pie. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.